Hey, it's your girl, Misunderstood, and you're rocking with Be Independent Radio with DJ B Lethal.
Welcome back to Healing with Miss
It's
Peggy.
your boy DJ B Lee, coming from the 614, repping that up, no matter what the zip code. From the tattoo shop around. You did? I knew you could.
What's going down, Miss Peg?
Hey y'all, good afternoon and good evening, DJ B Lethal, sir. We are here, you know, with Miss Peg, and we are healing through Autumn's Way like we do every Tuesday night, sir. Again, I want to thank you to LLR, Linda's Legacy Ohio Radio, sir, for creating all the platforms that you have. We're just blessed to be here, sir, doing what we do every Tuesday night. And tonight, I do want to welcome everyone. You know, I am Miss Peg, and we are here through Autumn's Way, helping any and everyone that we can through addiction. And we are from Columbus, Ohio. You know, our hometown, our state, as each and every city and state in the United States is affected by drug overdose. So many issues. We lost Autumn April the 10th, 2012. It has been 11 years. For 8 years, you know, I have been here. We have been here. The last 3 years, you know, we're blessed to be here, doing what we do, putting out free information, building networks across the United States. And we have lists of communities and people sharing their lives here. As y'all know, many have been here, and we want to thank them for always being with us and sharing their lives, because we know it will help others. And that's what we do. Anyone that you know that is struggling, please reach out to them. Please let them know they're not alone. You know, here at Autumn's Way, we do have numbers and resources. And, you know, we will put them out here in a little bit. But we have a very special guest with us tonight. We're very pleased to have her with us. And I'm just going to let her introduce herself. It's, you know, my sister, it's amazing that we met. But
It
together,
is.
yes, together we will continue to fight. I know you're all the way from California, so thank you for joining us right here. You know, addiction has touched everyone's lives. Everyone that knows someone that is in addiction has been through addiction or lost a loved one. And so it's so important. And again, we just thank you. I'm going to turn the mic over to you so you can introduce yourself. And again, welcome. And it is a great pleasure to have you with us.
Well, thank you for inviting me to the show. I feel honored and blessed to be a part of this show. We have so much that we can share amongst each other, and I really do appreciate the platform that you have provided for me to share my information on. My name is America Cole, and I'm from Sacramento, California. And I'm a state representative for a nonprofit called Drug Induced Homicide. And anyone can go to druginducedhomicide.org. It's a nonprofit, and we do a lot in the community for fentanyl overdoses. And basically, I'm here to talk about the dangers of fentanyl and illicit drugs. There's all kinds of drugs out there, and what this organization is doing to make a difference to curb this crisis. and I'll talk about how fentanyl has affected my family personally and the devastating havoc it wreaks on families across America. We all know the value of holding wrongdoers accountable for doing wrong, whether it's theft, assault, or murder, or any other reason. Especially in California, it's kind of tough because our laws have been diminished when it comes to holding anyone accountable for doing anything, just about. And I'm sure you've seen it in the news. But my son, my son died of fentanyl poisoning, and it was specifically carfentanil. And for those of you who do not know what carfentanil is, it's 100 times more potent than fentanyl. And we know how deadly fentanyl is. So he unfortunately did not have a chance. It, it was just devastating. He was my youngest son. His name was Merrick, and he was 25 years old. One of the things I want to touch on later on is mental health, because he had Asperger's, which is also known as high functioning autism. And we realized that he was very smart. He was able to speak 5 languages, and that included Russian, Spanish, and sign language. So we thought, oh, we have this brilliant kid. But what happened was that was his servant. When it came to people and trusting people, he was way too trusting, and all he wanted to do in life was make friends. He wanted to fit in. And so, yeah. And so many people will see him as vulnerable. It's really apparent as you conversate with him. And that's exactly what took his life, was trusting the wrong people. And he died of carfentanil poisoning. So it was unfortunate.
Oh, I want to say I'm so sorry for your loss of your beautiful son.
Thank you.
It's carfentanil. It is here. It is everywhere. And it is extremely, extremely, like you said, it's so strong.
And it's not as common as fentanyl, but it is out
No.
there.
Yes. And now, we have exolizone. I may not be pronouncing it right, but the exolizine,
Yeah.
it's so bad that it is absolutely.
Does not respond to naloxone. It does not respond to Narcan at all. Xylazine is one that does not respond to Narcan. But you have carfentanil that is an opioid based, and it does respond to Narcan, but you have to have a lot of it, and you've got to be very lucky because it's 100 times more potent. So it's rare that anybody would survive that.
Yeah, that's.
And yeah, so it's out.
Yes, it is. It is. There we go. Thank you. We're just having a little bit of. There we go.
Uh-oh. Everybody's internet is.
I know yes,
Everybody's
the internet.
is
I
buffering.
know that it has been in and out. I don't know if it has to do, with like the ice storms. They've been really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, America is a beautiful mother.
Hey, we will wait. She's
Yes,
a very good
yes,
guest. Very good.
yes. To all of her fighting and doing everything that she's doing, this is truly, um, as she was saying, the mental health, it's everything, you know, has to do involved.
There
It's,
she is.
it's, yes, we
There
know
she,
we just,
yeah, man. The internet, or well, we'll say the internet lost signal.
yes,
Yeah, we'll say the
No
internet.
worries. I was on a roll talking to myself.
Well,
no
hey,
worries.
continue. You're a very, very interesting guest so far. Very good guest. Uh,
It's,
Thank you.
it's, you truly are, man. Mary, it was funny the other day, DJ Belito, how me and her met. Um, my phone just started ringing. Of course, I always answer video calls, and I see this beautiful lady, and I'm like, hello. And we just start talking, about justice for James Cooper as well. We're helping that mother as well. Um, and so me and Mirica just started
Okay.
talking.
Yeah. One of the things that I don't know where I left off, but in California, it's hard to hold wrongdoers accountable for anything that they do. And we just think that the street level dealers, every family that I've talked to has said it's the street level dealer that has caused their loved one's death when it came to fentanyl poisoning or a drug overdose or something like that. But one of the things that drug induced homicide does is it steers to hold anyone accountable for killing people. Murder is murder. And one of the things I can tell you about Alexandra's Law, I don't know if you know about it in Ohio, but what it does, it's the same it's the same concept as Mothers Against Drunk Driving. They had to push laws and change laws to hold drunk drivers accountable. So what they did was they said, okay, you're already in court. Here's an admonishment letter. The next time you drink and drive, you could be held accountable if you hurt somebody or kill somebody. And so we wanted that same admonishment letter given to people that are already in a court because of another drug offense. So our warning letter basically says that if you continue your behavior and you kill somebody or somebody dies, and of course they get to go through the justice system, and it's proven that you killed this person, then you could be responsible for their death. Well, our safety committee voted no, or they no voted every single time on a warning letter. We don't understand it. We can't fathom why they wouldn't give somebody a warning letter. And one of the things that they brought up was that, well, we failed on the war on drugs and we don't want to incarcerate. And they brought that up. Well, this warning letter doesn't incarcerate. All it does is say in the future, if you continue to do what you're doing, there's consequences. And so we're going at it again in March and April in Sacramento, California to bring up this law, Alexandra's Law, to hold the street level dealer or peddlers accountable for the death of thousands and thousands across the nation. So it is not the same war on drugs. It's a war against drug dealers. it is holding them accountable for killing or being, you know, just it's a law that if you kill more than 2 or 3 people, it's a mass murderer or a serial killer, and that's by definition. That is by the law's definition. So I don't know why this is going on and continuing to go on and being passed through legislative hands. It baffles me. It baffles me.
And that's why we're here doing what we do every Tuesday night, is talk about addiction, mental health, bullying, suicide awareness, domestic violence, any and everything that we can to bring awareness to what is going on in our communities. Because no one wants to do anything, or they, the money, there has been money administered here to Ohio that certain organizations have not received yet. I have spoke with them. This is an ongoing in the court right now. Millions of dollars were supposed to go to an organization. They did not, the money, we don't know where it was dispersed to, but they did not receive it. So now there's a lot of questions. And this is a company, an organization that assists thousands of people all over the world with items in, for help in addiction. So we don't know.
I can tell you that when it comes to a lot of federal and state programs, the funding is squandered to other programs. They misappropriate money all the time. And when it comes to mental health, they just don't take mental health seriously. And I can tell you without a doubt, in my experience with mental health with my son, he suffered from depression, and anxiety because it was so difficult for him to make friends. It was difficult for him to communicate, and he felt different. He felt different and he knew it. So the first thing that people do when they feel different is, let me fit in. If they're doing drugs, let me do drugs. They'll like me more. Or if I take this, it'll make me feel better. And without even thinking about how it's wreaking havoc on his body or his mental health, because all it did was exacerbate the autism and actually made it worse. And so I understand when I see people and they're going through an episode out on the street, I get it. I get it. I understand that their mental health issue was never addressed. My son in particular was bullied in school. It was totally unacceptable. I homeschooled all my other kids because they were all the same, right around the same age. He trailed 8 years later, and I really felt like, okay, well, let him go to school since the other ones didn't go to school, and let me see how that happens. Well, he never told me that he was bullied. He never mentioned it. He was too afraid that I would homeschool him, and so he never mentioned it. So he dealt with it. And it is so important for parents to talk to their kids about bullying, and just 1 or 2 words can affect a person's entire life. If they say something like, "You're ugly," it sticks. If you have a mental health problem, it's going to stick. And that's exactly what happened with him. And so he had a lot of depression and anxiety. I took him to different to get different diagnoses. That he was misdiagnosed. He was told he had ADHD, and they were wrong. He actually had high level autism, which is Asperger's. First thing immediately we addressed was his his anxiety and depression. And when his anxiety level came down, it worked fantastic for him. But peer pressure is everything. Even with the medication, peer and wanting to keep friends was so every time he lost a friend or somebody decided to get a job or move away, he was crushed. He was crushed. And
Mirka will be right back with us. You know, that is the thing that we do talk about here a lot. You know, a lot of children sometimes are scared to speak up. You know, they're scared to say something, that they are being bullied. And it is scary for these children. You know, they don't want to say anything. And so they do try to fit in. And our society right now, with what is going on, you know, we have so many. I see that Mirka is back with us now. We were just talking about
I
the
know
bull. Go ahead, honey. I'm sorry.
no problem. So basically, when people are taken to rehabilitation or rehab because of their anxiety or depression and substance use disorder, because they end up using um, as a different things. It could be trauma, it could be anxiety, it could be depression, it could be a multitude of things. One of the things that I realized in going through this process with my son is they never addressed his mental health. They said, okay, if you are taking opioids, and there were opioids in the system, but it was only because he couldn't say no. He could not say no. And I ended up being his conservator because of his lack of um, the ability to make judgment. He couldn't make decisions. He couldn't say
Hello. I know. There you are.
Ring around the
a
rosy. Tag, you're it.
thing that. So I was talking about um, different centers that people are sent to. It's difficult because there's not enough funding to get a team of people that understands um, mental health. They really don't understand people that are falling on the spectrum of mental health. It could be bipolar, it could be schizophrenia, it could be OCD, it could be, germaphobe, it could be anywhere on that spectrum. And it causes anxiety and they don't know how to deal with it. It's very difficult. My son went to a dual diagnosis center because he had autism that caused him to use or try to fit in with people and take things. And what had happened is they kicked him out because with autism, people blurt. He blurts, he will tell people like it is. And the next thing I know, he got kicked out. And I don't know if you guys can hear me
Yes,
or
we
I'm talking to
can. Yes.
myself,
No, we can hear you,
but
sweetie. We can hear you.
I wanted to say that they need to have more dual diagnosis clinics in
Yes, I
throughout the United States.
I completely agree with you. And only they should deal with mental health issues. We do need more clinics just for that, you know, only and only for that. Do need special specialties, specialized people because there is so much to mental health, um, like you just said, someone being diagnosed with schizophrenia, they need a different medication other than someone is diagnosed with bipolarism. You know, um, there is different meds and autism. It's like you said, it's such a big umbrella, different spectrums of autism. And there's so much they say um, about the autism that some of the what do you call the vaccines they say that has caused some of that. I don't know if that is true or not. That's just my opinion.
I
But
think Miss Peggy is freezing up.
go ahead, sweetheart.
Hello. Uh-oh. You there, Miss Peg?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
I can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay.
She's swirling right now.
Yes. All the way out there in California.
Yeah, yeah.
She'll be back
We
with
got
us.
stuck. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Boom.
I do want to welcome Redeem. I see that Redeem is with us, and I see that Big C is with us. Tonight, we
Yes,
have a
sir.
beautiful special guest with us. We have Mirka Cole with us, beautiful lady. She is in California, and she is also on a mission to bring awareness. She lost her son due to carfentanil, and so we're just here on a mission doing what we do. You know how, you know, we're here talking about it, bringing awareness, and we're just blessed that she is with us tonight. And so, how is everyone tonight until she gets back with this? How are y'all doing tonight?
Oh, I'm sitting back, chilling, relaxing. Before I gotta get up at like 3 a.m.
Let's get at 3 a.m. Marie Teams, we always appreciate you always being with us.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I caught some of it, what she was talking about, and I really liked it. I could relate to a few of those things, like not necessarily like the mental side of the son, but like I've known some people like that, and honestly, they turned out to be my best friends. So like I definitely can feel where she's coming from, and just especially like on the bullying and stuff. I definitely can relate. It's really powerful. Like it's really good that you do what you do, Miss Peg, and be able to allow people to get this out because you never know who's going through what in the world, and someone could be going through the same situation and just need somebody just to say like, hey, I'm going through it too, just to be able to make it feel better. So really appreciate what you do, Miss Peg. Autumn's Way, shout out. DJ B Lethal, shout out to you always. But yes, ma'am, just want to say that.
Redeem, we already love you from day one. And I always thank you for always supporting Autumn's way through. And everyone, Redeem is an artist as well, and he also has his show here on Saturday night as well. So tune in again on Saturday night with Redeem. And I always thank you for being with us.
Yes, ma'am. You know I got you always. You know we family.
You know it. America will be right back with us. I know.
Wow, man, it must be kicking up out in Cali.
It is. California is. Whew.
I was gonna say I wanted to visit there, but I think I'm gonna wait till that weather's a little bit better.
Yes, definitely.
Oops,
Big C, how are you doing, sir?
there she is.
There she is.
Hi. I don't know if
Hello.
it's my internet or yours. It's like
Hey, we've been holding it down,
reappearing,
waiting for you. We've been holding it
disappearing,
down.
reappearing.
We're holding it down for you.
She
But
over there like Houdini.
okay, all
It's
right.
okay. We're
So
here.
at least I know how to get back in, so that's a good thing.
Yes,
You guys are
yes.
making me a pro at this. But the anxiety and I'm seeing that amongst people. And I think that one of the reasons why people are homeless is because they have some type of addiction problem. They can't hold a job. It's very difficult to manage multitasking, just, having any type of ADHD, having any type of anxiety, and people are losing jobs and they don't know what to do. They end up losing their homes as a result of not being treated for their mental health. And it starts with having the right programs, the right people that can diagnose, and the right medications. These professionals need to know what they're doing. They need to know what they're doing and understand really that this is a new era of anxiety. This is a new era of it's a new era of different drugs on the street. It's a new era of mental health, period. And so you cannot go by the book and say, okay, if you have this symptom, this is what you have, because it could be a multitude of things. And it could be simply that somebody was bullied and they took drugs and the drugs brought on the schizophrenia. Sometimes it happens that way. So they need to understand mental health, address mental health, provide dual diagnosis centers that can address the mental health and the substance use disorder at the same time. So that once they address the mental health, that person will understand why it is that they're doing that particular drug. And once you understand it, you have the understanding on a method of trying to stop that particular substance. So it goes hand in hand. It does go hand in hand. But I can
Yes.
tell you the smartest of the smart people on the spectrum, they are not looked at as having autism because they can communicate, they can do things, they're very smart, but they have a high amount of anxiety, an extremely high amount, because they're misunderstood. They're just different, and people can't accept when you're different. When you're different from the next person, some people can't handle it, and that's not acceptable in today's society. So when somebody is killed with drugs, it touches me. It brings it home to me, because I know where my son's path was going. I understood his disability, and it really, I don't even like using the word disability. It's just a different way that he thinks. And so when I would understand exactly where he's coming from and told him, hey, you know what, it's okay to be different, he felt better, because he always thought he couldn't bring it up because it was unacceptable. So people need to open up, professionals need to open up, get out of the archaic books, and take a look at the new mental health problems that we're seeing nowadays.
I completely agree. Here in Ohio, we do have a few programs for teens. One is called the Butterfly Gardens, and it is a lot of
I heard part of what
parents,
you said.
a lot of parents are, you know, are absent in the home. A lot of grandparents are absent. They just don't. That's the thing here is here in Columbus, there's 130,000 grandparents raising children because there are no
Wow.
parents. And the
Wow.
facilities that we have are overpopulated. You know, the programs, we have some great programs. Um, you know, with COVID, with everything going on, there has been just the cost of groceries, gas, rent. So many people, you know, has pushed a lot of people to homelessness as well. Um, there's so much going on. And if people don't have that help or that person helping them, they will be lost into addiction. And if they're bullied,
So
they stay, you know, they will be in there longer if there's no help. And again, that's why we're here talking about, you know, yes, it needs to be looked at in every city and state needs to do something. Even our health departments need to, you know, come up with some different programs, some special programs for our people that really, really need it. Not just, you know, psychiatrists or psychologists can only do so much. It really takes a professional, which they are, but it takes a certain kind of doctor to absolutely go through the tests, perform blood work, tests, questionnaires, sleep studies on a person in order to really, really diagnose them. When you go in, a lot of times you have 10 minutes with a doctor, 10 minutes with a person that's never seen you, don't know you, and they're going to diagnose you with this, whatever it may be, and you take this, this, and this, and call me next week and tell me how you feel. That's not right. 10 minutes is not enough evaluation. That's, again, that's just in my opinion. But again, that's not enough time to diagnose what is going on in the world. It's not just in our city and state. You're in California. I've seen multiple videos, and it's alarming what is going on in the streets there.
When I see somebody on the streets, I think about my own child and how fortunate he had, how fortunate what it was for him to have me as his conservator. But I can tell you that having conservatorship, I kind of feel like I failed him, but I had to rethink this because I did everything that I could to make sure that he had the resources that he needs. And unfortunately, the resources failed him because the program take private insurance, the program may not take Medi-Cal, the program may not take certain things, and all the while he's tossed in the wayside. And when I see people on the streets, I'm like, you know what? I wish they had someone that could help them because all they need is guidance. And with that guidance, uh, at least they could get one step closer to getting the help that they need. But everyone ignores them. They go past them. There is nothing offered, and they're offered in California. They're building apartment complexes for the homeless. Well, you can give a homeless person an apartment complex and house them there, but if you don't address their mental health issue, they will tear up the whole inside of an apartment if they have an episode. And so they're not, they're just
Exactly.
ignoring the fact that they need the mental health help and they need to be in a program. There needs to be, okay, if you're not in a program, then you can't have this whole apartment to yourself. It's an encouragement. And quite frankly, there are some people that don't trust the government and they don't want the housing. They'd rather be on the street. And that's another sad, and we can talk about that in, whenever you're ready to talk
Yes,
about it.
yes, yes.
They just don't trust programs.
And
And
that is very true.
I myself experienced giving my son his medication, and sometimes while I'm trying to figure out which combination of medications work that he was prescribed, because I could watch him every day, sometimes he got to a point where he said, "Hey, are you trying to poison me?" And in his head, and this is not uncommon for somebody with a mental health problem to feel like someone's trying to hurt them, harm them with medication. And I don't know how many listeners have experienced that or have seen that, but I'm understanding I'm not the only one that has experienced that, where somebody felt like, when you're trying to help them with medication, they think the opposite, that they're going to die.
Yes, there has been quite a few. There is more than what people think, um, because certain mental illnesses, you know, certain medications may work and other medications may not. And I know that she'll be right back with us. Again, I just want to thank everyone for always joining us here every Tuesday night. We do this every Tuesday night. We talk about things that people do not want to talk about. We always ask everyone, if you know someone that is struggling with addiction, please reach out to them. If you see a community box in your neighborhood, please drop off water. Please contact your harm reduction specialist team. Please Google harm reduction. They will send Narcan straight to your home. We encourage everyone, please learn, watch the video on how, when to use it. Just check on any and everyone that you think may be struggling with mental health. If they may be in a abusive situation, please check on them. If you think that someone is dealing with a mental health issue, please, we ask that y'all check on them. And we always put out the number, which is 988. That is the National Suicide Hotline number. We put that out here every Tuesday night. Anyone that is dealing with anything, please know that you're not alone. And that's why we're here. That it's okay just to be okay. It's okay
I'm
to
glad
be, you know.
I'm glad you brought that up about Narcan. And one of the things that I've seen in California is that we will have somebody that has passed away and they have Narcan in their pocket. You cannot Narcan yourself. You won't have time to give yourself Narcan. Please understand how to use it. What we do is we have booths that are set up and we give Narcan out to grandparents and parents and aunts, caretakers, people that are able to administer naloxone, also known as naloxone, and making sure, because I will tell you, I could tell you countless and countless of cases where grandma wants to be their grandson's best friend or their granddaughter's best friend. They don't want to question their usage or anything, and they just leave them alone. And they have no idea that they're dying in the next room. My advice is check on your
Yes.
grandkids, check and see what they're doing. Minutes matter, minutes matter. And you have to understand that it's okay if they're upset. It's okay if they're mad. This is a life. This will take your life, and I'd rather be a helicopter mom or the also known as probation officer than to have a dead child. I will tell you, I will
Yes.
swap that any day, any day.
Yes. 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 And that's why, again, that we are here doing what we're doing, bringing awareness. It is a fight every day, every 5 minutes. There is a death from overdose. And that is just here.
And that's
That is
unacceptable.
it. Overdose is the number one death in the whole United States.
Another
That
thing that
is
I learned.
unacceptable. It is.
Yes, it is. And you know what I'm learning also? Because there are a lack of looking at what actually happens to people that are in a situation where they call it an overdose. We're having situations where somebody is upset with somebody, and even in homeless camps, and I know people have heard about this, where people will intentionally give somebody fentanyl to get them out of their hair. And this happens all the time, which is why drug induced homicide, we say there should be an investigation into everybody's death to rule out homicide. Because in my son's particular case, they had his Cash App card, they had his belongings. This person had things that they should not have had, and when I tried to get it looked into, they said it's an overdose, and that's what they just did not investigate it. And the alarming thing was that he passed away well, he didn't pass away, he was found non-responsive at home. They transported him to the hospital where he died, but they never investigated his room. They didn't look at it. They didn't even question us as his conservator saying, hey, what happened? Where were you right before this happened? So it told me something that was very alarming, that if anyone can kill somebody, but as long as it's with fentanyl, they're not going to look at it, or they may not investigate it. And unfortunately, what I'm finding out in talking to moms, a lot of them know who or where they got that fentanyl from, and it's not being looked at.
No. In our city, a lady, a gentleman had picked up a young lady from the street, had took her to the trap house, got the dope. She got in the car. He says, I don't feel well. She closed her eyes. And he drove across town 20 minutes, didn't stop, didn't call 911, didn't pull over. In his testimony, it took the mother calling investigators, detectives, narcotic squads, and everything for them to absolutely do anything. They finally, the SWAT team finally, they finally did an investigation and found out, he's picking up young girls from the street, supplying them with dope, and he is serving right now. He is still in prison. I don't think it's enough time, but he was found for contributing, and with the purchase of buying drugs that killed them. And he is serving 11.5 years for
Wow.
just one case, but was only tried for the one case. But it is very hard for them to get, to look at any case, especially because it came from somewhere. Someone knows. They can look at their phone. They can go down the street. But something is, it can't be tracked of where it came from. And yes, I do agree with you. This is death. And when we are talking about people that have mental health issues. They are not thinking right. And like you said, it happens in homeless camps. We read about it. I listen to the scanner. It is here in our Columbus area. The homeless, they do things to each other, attack, stab, kill. It's on the news, and this is going on. And this is so sad in our communities. The people literally with the book bag they have of what they have, and they are fighting, and it's alarming. There is some people that do, like you said, want to be there, and there are some, they don't want to be there, and they don't know how to get away from that situation and circumstances. And again, we have resources here in Ohio. We wish that there were more, because when they leave the facilities, a lot of times, they're offered certain things, but not enough for housing and all of this type things that they need. They absolutely have to have, that are essential. If they don't have transportation, how are they going to get back to work? There's a lot of facilities and places that helps get birth certificates, IDs, and that type of stuff, so they can get services. So, but there's so many people that lost. They don't know that some of these programs even exist.
Correct. Absolutely. It's just amazing. And what I'm finding out, that a lot of these facilities that try to help people that are especially on fentanyl, um, They could be on fentanyl, but they don't know how to treat fentanyl because it is not a drug as we think of cocaine, heroin. Um, it's predictable. You know, heroin is predictable, cocaine. But what's happening is fentanyl is different because it's man-made. There's no exact science to every single pill. They're all different, and treatment for it is is it's way different because it's not a drug. They just, to me, it shouldn't even be called fentanyl. It should be called something something poison because it's made by man. It's manufactured. Different people are manufacturing it
And
with
this, exactly, and this drug is supposed to be in a hospital setting for people that are getting to have operations, to be put to sleep by an anesthetic, by someone that is trained for surgery. This
correct.
is not
And that,
a street. Yes, the drugs right now are so, it's different. These are
yeah.
man-made drugs. It's scary.
Yes. Because if you think about what is in the hospital setting, you're with a doctor, and this is a medical grade fentanyl, which is acceptable for medical use because you have a team of doctors that are monitoring you. They know what to look for, they know how time release works, even when they give you a patch, a transdermal patch. And if it's not messed with, it works the way it's supposed to work. But we're talking about the street level fentanyl that has no science to it. There's nobody watching, there's no doctor administering it, there's nobody on hand if something happens to you. It's totally different. The street level fentanyl is what should be addressed, not the medical grade that is monitored by doctors, that's given to you in a patch, that as long as you don't mess with it. But we know that abuse was coming from the patches as well. And, abuse comes in all forms, but my whole thing is to identify the different types of fentanyl that is out there. And when we talk about fentanyl, we're referring to the street level, man made. Let's shake it up and press it into pills and make it look like Xanax, and let's deceive the people. Let it look like a Percocet and give it to the people. Say, hey, this is what it is. And it's delivered as quickly as it takes for a pizza to come to your door. They will come to your door and deliver it to you, just like a pizza. And here we are with this new epidemic, and it's not even new. It's been going on for a while, but it was overlooked for a while. And now we have this exasperated problem that is being largely ignored by legislators. There's some legislators that are paying attention to it, and some are attributing it to the war on drugs. I don't know if you saw Jelly Roll.
Yes.
That
Shout out to
guy,
Jelly Roll.
shout
Shout
out to
out.
Jelly Roll.
Yes. And
He
Bunny.
nailed it.
Yes.
Yes. And he nailed it when he said two words: it's murder.
Yes.
And I think what happened, he said, you know what? I was on both sides of this. I was the addict. I was the dealer. I went to jail. I went to prison. I paid the price.
And I
And
absolutely have met him. I have met him multiple times here in Columbus at the Alarosa Villa when he would come here and do tours. This was right before he went to country. And I'm telling
oh,
you,
wow.
this man, I have spoke with him, talked with him, and I'm telling you, he is as humble and sincere about everything he is saying. So it's everything he said is true. And I just want to thank you again for being here with us and sharing and speaking on everything. that you're speaking on. I truly thank you, my sister, in this fight of addiction, that we will never stop. We are on a mission. And we know that what we are saying, that someone will hear and it will help them.
Yes, because what we're finding out is the people that are out there that are peddling fentanyl and other drugs, they don't care about the person. They care about the dollar. They care about what they're making. So when this fentanyl is cut into these drugs, they're making more money because it's so cheaply made that they don't care about your life. You know, they may say something like, hey, don't take too much of that. It's a little strong, but they're failing to say that it's deadly. It is deadly. Don't, you know, I couldn't say that enough. It's deadly, and they know it. They know it. They know it. There's no doubt. It's all over the news. They have to know it. Everyone else knows it. And you know, dealers, they pay attention to what's going on in the laws, and they are paying attention to what's being passed. But back to Jelly Roll, when he was out there talking, they were asking him about his second chance in life. How is it that how did you feel when you were given the second chance in life? And he said, you know, I thought about the things that I was doing, the things that how it affected people, and I decided that I was going to turn my life around. And one of the things that I can tell you, in California, they believe in second chances. But one thing Jelly Roll said was, I did my time. I had to sit down for a minute to realize what it is that was going on and what I was doing. So that component is missing out of the laws, that we're dismissing things. Oh, he's an addict, he was selling, so let's get him into rehabilitation. But what they forget is somebody died, somebody was killed. And so, you know, when Jelly Roll said, I did my time, that means there was a consequence. And he paid that consequence. He mentions it. And he said, I appreciated what I was taught, how it came to be that now he goes, everything is expressed through his music. And he found that that was satisfying, but he could not ignore the fentanyl crisis. He couldn't ignore it because he was part of that life. And I am so appreciative that he used his voice to bring that out, because it was his consequence that had him sit down and think about it. And we really truly believe that if somebody harms somebody, and they're incapacitated for some reason because of a drug that was served to them, they need to sit down for a minute, and they need to face the consequences, and they need to see what it is that they're doing, so they too can turn their life around and make a difference.
Yes. Yes. That part, make a difference. And you know, a smile, a hug, a phone call can make all the difference. Stopping by somebody's house can make all the difference.
And it's so important, like you were saying, just to check on people. Are you okay? If you know somebody that has addiction issues, don't avoid them. Check on them. Find out if they're okay. There's a gentleman that was telling me how tough it is to get off of fentanyl. I talked to him. I'm not afraid to talk to him. And he said, it's like a vortex. Every time I try to climb out of it, it sucks me right back in, and I don't know how to get off of it. He has no idea. And when I started looking for services for him, they don't know how to treat fentanyl. I didn't know this. until I did the research and realized that it's hard to treat. It's not the same as the other drugs. You know, they were given
It,
they thought they were making headway when they said, hey, you know what? We're going to stiffen penalties if you sell a kilo or more of drugs. But fentanyl's not a drug. We know a kilo or more. You know how many people that kills? So it's they're missing the mark. They're missing what this really is. This fentanyl is something that is not equal to cocaine, is not equal to heroin, it's not equal to meth, it's not equal to anything that's on the street. That it's
exact,
just different.
it is. And that's like the exilizine that, is found,
Xylazine,
yet xylazine in every city and
yeah.
state. Our DEA is putting this out as a alert that this is killing, you know, here, there's testing strips. It's passed out by our hospitals at emergency rooms, OSU. They give free Narcan, free testing strips, no questions asked. Our fire departments pass out free Narcan. They can just, stop in, get Narcan, but still, there are not, it's just not enough housing. It's not, this drug, and the thing that my thing is with the xylazine, okay, this is a drug that anyone can purchase. Why and how can this still continue to be happening?
It is not something
That's
that's safe.
this is appalling. This is, I don't know the word for it, because this should not be still allowed to continue for anyone to purchase. This is a drug that sedates, we're talking about elephants, giraffes, rhinoceros to sleep for certain, again, Narcan, is not bringing them back. And this is going on in our city. It's so bad right now. We do also have the drug here in Columbus that's eating all the way down to the bone. The track. We was talking about
Right.
that. Yeah, 2
Mm-hmm.
weeks ago. Heather was on. We was talking about that. And it's really bad. It's really bad here in the city.
Yes. And just like carfentanil, how my son died, it's not something that is medical grade. It is not for human consumption. It is also it's a sedative for a large animal like elephants. But there is a slight difference because it's opioid based. It has an
Yes.
opioid base. Is
Yes.
the only difference, but it's still just as deadly as xylazine. And it blew my mind because after he died, the xylazine was coming up, and the difference is too that it eats flesh, where carfentanil will not eat flesh. And as soon as people start injecting it, and they will start getting flesh wounds. And sometimes when I see people and it looks like half their face was eaten off, I'm like,
It's what they
it's so addictive that they can't stop doing it, even though they have this massive wound. They can't stop. It's that addictive. It's out of control. They don't stop it. It shouldn't be on the street. They need to find out who's getting it and how they're getting it. Carfentanil the same way. Who's getting it and how they're getting it. And anyone that's possessing it or says, I have this or I had this at my house, they need to be arrested, because you can't have it. It's like saying, I have arsenic in my house or I have cyanide. Well, why do you have it, ma'am? You know what? You're under arrest.
exactly, because that's what would happen. That is exactly what would happen.
Yeah.
And there is so much. I mean, we're talking overdose every minute on the hour in every city and state across the United States. The These drugs are so bad that it's alarming, and that's why we are here again doing what we do. Talk about it because we're never going to stop doing what we do. Trying to get to to understand why. And that's the thing, there may never know why, but for the resources not being there, there's no excuse for that. It's just not.
No,
There's too much
no,
money going to how many different countries that our city and states, our people, our communities, a lot of families, a lot of children are going to bed with no food. So we have children that are raising children. That's it is alarming. So I'm glad that Jelly Roll went and addressed everyone, because any and every voice, like I said, we're never going to stop doing what we do. We're just not.
no. And you know what? Doing what I do may not bring my son back, but you know what? I will tell you this. If I could save somebody from going through what I went through, I'm going to continue to do it. I call it Merrick's mission. His name was Merrick, and I call it his mission because he drives me to do what I do. I don't know if you can see him in the background right there.
Yes, I do. Yes, we do.
He
We
is,
see him. Hi, Merrick.
yeah.
That's Autumn.
And
The background here too
I'm
is Autumn's Way
beautiful,
through,
beautiful.
and photo credit to DJ Be Lethal as well. He does a lot of beautiful flyers, everything like that, photos. If you have a photo that you would like, something special, DJ Be Lethal, yes, sir, a picture out there like that. He is awesome at creating beautiful, you know, memory pictures as well.
Yeah, I'll just be doing stuff.
It's amazing. I like that picture. I love the photo. She's beautiful. And
Thank you.
I will tell you
So is your
another thing
son.
that, yes, thank you. And no, I'll tell you this from the bottom of my heart. And I don't know how many listeners have kids, and I don't know how many people are single, but the worst thing in the world is to try to give CPR to your own child when they're in distress. It is the worst panicky feeling that overcomes you. And when I was doing this, I had to give CPR to him because we found him in his room. I wasn't thinking about the substance he was on. That was the farthest from my mind. It could have killed me. It could have killed me. But I kept doing what I do, and any mom would do, is to continue that CPR until the paramedics came and transported him. And so I thought, okay, they gave him an IV. He's out of the woods. We didn't know what it was because my son was 200 pounds. He was a good sized kid. And they didn't know what it was. So when they came up and saw carfentanil, they were alarmed because he was the first one in the region to to have this in his system. And since his death, he was the last one that was noted. Yes. And I keep asking
That's
about this
very,
in
sorry,
this
that's just
particular
very
region.
odd. Yes.
Yes. And so, that's why I said, if I could do this and bring awareness and say, hey, you know what? You can be your child's friend, but you are also a parent. Talk to them. tell them the dangers out there. We see gummies that are out there. We see rainbow fentanyl. We see things that look like Flintstone vitamins that have fentanyl in it. It comes in all shapes and forms. And the whole idea behind fentanyl is to get you a little bit more addicted to that weed, to that cocaine, to that heroin, so that they can have a return customer. But they are aware that some are going to die, but it's cheap and I'm making some money. And it's unacceptable. If they knew the pain, they don't just kill one generation. My son had no chance of having kids. So it killed multiple generations. And not only is he the victim, but we're victimized. We are victimized by fentanyl. We're victimized by it. And um, I have empathy for people that are on it because I understand how they got addicted to it. One thing leads to another, and next thing you know, you're asking for it. Once you figure out what it is causing that strong addiction, people are asking for it. But nobody deserves to die. And it's illegal to possess, and it's illegal to sell. And those people that are possessing it and selling it need to be held accountable. That's my number one message, because there's no reason why my beautiful son can't get justice. There's no reason whatsoever. No reason whatsoever. We know exactly where it came from. It wasn't hard to figure out.
Mm-mm-mm. And you say they still have his Cash App card and his skateboard and items of his belongings, some of his belongings.
Yes, what happened was I was able to get into his phone because he's very concrete. He's so aspy. I love it because I call it aspy. He's so aspy. I could figure out, I'm like, it's got to be three things. And so the third attempt, I got into his phone. And yes, I noticed that his Cash App card was missing and where it was located because they ordered food, used the Cash App. So Amazon worked with me to find out where the location was. And it was right in the neighborhood.
Mm.
And we realized this address, we know who it is. Um, there were multiple people involved in this Cash App scheme and taking of his True Religion clothes, lids, hats, Nikes, shoes, different things. I'm a helicopter mom, but not enough to go check his room every day to see if something's missing. I just don't
And,
do that.
yeah.
And when I saw this in his phone, I realized I need to go check to see if things are missing. And so I went in there and he had nothing. His people with autism wear headphones and they don't part with their headphones. And they had his headphones, Bluetooth speaker, clothes, shoes, hats, anything of value. A couple of homeless people were staying there, and they threatened him a few days before he died. And my I remember my son feeling scared, and I went back on a text that he gave me 2 days before he passed, saying that someone's going to kill me and I'm going to die. And I have it in writing. And when I came home, he was fine. He was fine. He was relieved that I was home. Police were in my yard. They have a record of being there. And I told them if I need them, I would call them back because I thought it was anxiety or something that was happening with him. And come to find out that they were threatening him a couple of days earlier. I found this later on that they were threatening him and said that they would shoot him if he told, if they would do this to him, they would do that. And he thought he was going to die. And this is what I tell the police. How could you ignore the fact that 2 days before you were at my house, he says he's going to die and then he dies? He really does die 2 days later. Um, it's just something that I just, that's the other victimization that I feel, that I'm forced to investigate my own son's death. That's unacceptable as well. And anyone going through this, just know that your parents, some parents can't survive what we survived. Some parents cannot do it. And some parents do it, but cry every day. They're given this anxiety.
that sometimes they can't get out of because it will consume you.
It will.
When
And
you,
that's why we do what we do, because if
yes,
nobody speaks for our children, and if we can help the next person, that's what we're
yes,
going to try to do. We're not going to stop, because your life, the audience that's out there, your life is worth it. You have a bright future. You
yes,
have hope. My son doesn't have a chance to make that decision. You out there have a chance. You have the ability, because you're alive, to make a difference in your own life. And I know it's hard. It's hard, from everything that I've learned about fentanyl, everything that I heard about heroin. I've learned about cocaine. I've learned about all these different drugs, like crack, the different things that's hard to get off of. We see a lot of people that do beat addiction, and there's they thank people like us that fought for them, that said, you know what, you are worth it. You are worth it.
yes.
And
Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up.
don't ever give up. And if you try 5 times, 10 times, however
It's
many
okay.
times it takes you to do this, you do what you can do for yourself.
Exactly.
Don't You can't do it for anyone else but yourself.
Each day matters. If you fall, that's okay. Just get back up. Try again tomorrow. Reach out. Just keep getting up. Just keep getting up. Don't let your struggle, it might be a struggle today, but tomorrow there's a whole new day. Keep fighting yourself. Don't get mad at yourself. Don't beat yourself up. But
Ever.
no, but just reach out. Because there's always someone. They can reach out to me through Facebook. We are Autumn's Way Through Helping Others. We have, the National Domestic Violence Hotline as well. We have hotline numbers. We have resources, rehabs, and every day we are adding more and more help. Someone's calling in, someone's sharing another place that may help. And together we are letting people know that they're not alone. And sometimes that's what we do here, is letting people know they're not alone. Because that's all it takes sometimes. It's just letting them know that. We lose too many. And that's why we're here, because we're on a mission. We are unstoppable. We're passing through this
Unstoppable.
earth. Unstoppable, exactly. We're passing through the earth. Or not, what are we taking with us? You know, um, Sometimes when you say goodbye, no death is understandable. There is no death that is ever, or you will ever understand, no matter what age or what happens. But some deaths are just unexplainable and unacceptable. But it is their time, and that was their time. And none of us know when our time may be. So all we can do is love the ones that love us, because that's what we are leaving when we leave the earth, planet Earth, is love and memories. That's what people have to cherish. You know, people can leave anything they want, but you're not taking it with you. And just like you said, people that are cooking up stuff in their kitchens, that are selling it to or feeding it to the children, to the earth, they think that they're buying one thing, and it ends up being fentanyl that kills them. Xylazine. These drugs right now today are something different. People are concocting things and just taking it. I don't know if you know about this too as well, but here in Columbus, people are spraying bug spray in baggies and sniffing that, and they're calling it bugging. This is how bad addiction is. And, it is just taking life after life after life. I am so glad that you are here with us, sharing and continuing
I'm so glad.
on your
I'm so
mission.
glad I could be here. I'm so glad I could be here. When you introduced this platform and told me about it, my heart was like beating. And we had a very long conversation, Miss Peggy. We had a
Yes,
very long conversation about my experience and what I do and why I do it. And our stories were just meshing. And one of the things that I do know, that when I get in contact with somebody and I'm talking to them, it's not by mistake that we've run into each other. To me, it was meant to be. It's meant to be talked about. Your passion is very much like mine. It's exactly like mine. And I couldn't tell you thank you enough. I couldn't say it enough, because you have an audience that understands this, and they understand what you're saying, and they understand. And so I get to introduce my portion, and I'm hoping people will understand through my beautiful son that this is something that you don't want to put your loved ones through. It's something that it's like living a nightmare. It's like living a nightmare every day. And I miss my son saying, guess what I did today? And I had to cringe and say, what did you do today? Because
yes,
he did a lot of things that I went, oh no, you know.
yes.
But but these are the things that, I miss him coming out of his room, or he'll make a fat sandwich, or, just those little things that I'm like, I miss this. And I don't know if the audience knew or if I mentioned it. This is my second son that I lost. I lost the second to the youngest in a motorcycle accident 8 years prior. They're 8 years apart. Um, They both
So
passed away at the
sorry.
age of 25. Yeah, they were both 25 at the time. And the hardest thing for me was having to bury him next to his brother. To me, I was there, but I wasn't there. It's hard to
I
explain.
do
Uh,
understand.
the pain was so much that I was just, I couldn't cry. I was just so hurt and people were crying. I remember hearing people crying, but I couldn't even react because I was so shocked. I was still in shock.
Yes, it's shock,
And
and you can't breathe right. And
mm-mm,
everything, it's like a haze. It's like you're seeing everything, but you're aware, but you're not. It's the emotion. I don't know how to describe either. There's no explanation to explain at that moment of just trying to breathe.
and putting the words together, shock and grief, it just, I don't know. I can't even tell you what I go through every day because, knowing that this has happened and then the other shoe dropped and I was like, this can't be happening, and I am meeting some parents that are in the groups that have lost two children to fentanyl.
Yes, yes. I
Sometimes
have,
they,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I
no,
have
go
some
ahead.
groups that I want to add you to as well, where there are mothers. And I'm so sorry, bless their hearts. And I lift them up, angel hugs and love every day because they have walked in to a bedroom or a basement and they have found two of their children and their friends, maybe 4 or 5 young adults passed away due to fentanyl. Um, there are some groups I will add you to because the mothers help. You know, we are energy together. Like I said, we are unstoppable, my sister, on this earth. Even though you're in California, I can feel you all the way over here. We will never stop doing what we do. We will never stop talking about and bringing awareness because we are saving lives. We do change lives and we bring
Yes,
people
we do.
together and we make a difference every day just by getting up. And yes, it is an accomplishment because we have a mission that we are unstoppable. There's things that want to stop us, but it won't.
No, it won't. And the insomnia that comes with it is tremendous. And I just want to write Mr. Sandman and say, please come visit me again because I miss you. This is something that nobody should go through in the wee hour because the gears don't stop turning about what can I do? What can I do to save another life? What can I do? I need to call this parent. I need to do X, Y, Z. And what I'm finding that my survival has come through the energy of doing what I do and staying busy. And,
Yes.
and I was telling, I don't know if anybody in the group knows Matt Capilouto. He's the president and CEO of Drug Induced Homicide, who lost his daughter, Alexandra, at the age of 19. And he's from Temecula, California. And when I met him, I can tell you that I thought to myself, this man wants to help people. This man wants to stop this scourge. He wants to stop this fentanyl flow, and he's doing whatever it takes. And one of the things that I thought to myself, if I had half the energy that he had, because I was new, I just lost my son. If I had half the energy, I would I would be saying the same thing. I would be saying the exact same thing. And so I joined the group. I have no regrets. I stay busy. I met you, and
Yes.
and Facebook is incredible. Social media is credible. We can go get together from different parts of the United States and have
Yes,
a
here we are.
conversation and have this important conversation to save lives. Just like you said, unstoppable. There's nothing that should be in our way of doing what we do.
We talk about this, and it's a movement every day. You know, there, I know that Autumn's way through over the past 8 years, she's been gone 11. Well, this year will be 12 years. But of course, it's, here we are again today doing what we do. We're never going to stop. Again, I say that. I continue to say that because the death rate is there's an overdose every 2.5 minutes, and it is unacceptable.
Well,
Yep.
I do know.
Hel-
I do know
Hello,
one.
DJ Belito.
Hello. I
Yes,
just wanted
sir.
to say
Welcome. Yes,
this
sir. Come out of
wonderful,
that. Yes,
wonderful,
yes.
wonderful lady here that she is way more than welcome to bring anybody else back. Come back every week,
Yes,
bring people, bring everybody.
yes.
Everybody, anybody and everybody that you could bring back that wants to be a part of this. Bring them back.
Thank you. I will definitely take advantage of that.
Please, please do. Please
But
do.
I see that there's a limit of 10 in the room.
Yes, we can have
I will
10.
bring back one at a time. How's that?
Yes.
Okay, that works too.
Okay. Now I have a question for you, Miss Peggy, and I think you can educate me on this. You've been through this for 12 years now. For you, does it seem like this just happened? Because for me, time stands still. And even though my first son passed away 8 to 9 years ago, and my son passed away a couple of years ago, it feels like it just happened recently. I don't know if it's because the way our brain processes and time stands still when it comes to traumatic events. Like people remember when they were abused. They remember the date that they had that domestic violence against them, and it's like it was yesterday. Is that the same way for you as well? I'm just wondering, 12 years down the road, what it's going to be like for me, and you can answer it best.
My beautiful sister on this planet, I always keep everything 100. And I will tell you this. First off, again, I am truly so sorry for the loss of your beautiful sons.
Thank you.
Every day that I get up, my hope is to help someone else. My message here for Autumn's Way is to give people hope for a better day tomorrow, to let them know that they're not alone. That is a very hard question. It's every day is a struggle. Every day, when you open your eyes, everything is good. Then you remember. Throughout every second of the day, you will see things. You will hear music. You will hear a song. You'll smell something. You may wear their shirt. pillow, sleep on their pillow. They're always here. My sister, the only thing I can tell you is every day is different. Life is different. The shoes that we wear now, they're a little tight every day. And it gets different. It gets to where there's nights that you will be able to sleep. Just know that sleep. Sandman will, our beautiful angels will say, my mom needs some sleep tonight. Bring her comfort. That's what I believe. Because I have a living child, an autumn in heaven. And the second year, it is truly the hardest. I thought was harder than the first year. But what I
That's
have
the truth.
found, it is. Because the second year, it just seems unreal. Because you're trying to grasp. Because every day seems like yesterday. And like you said, traumatic events. Anything traumatic, we remember vividly every second, the way the bread had to was just the way the bread was sitting on the counter, how much milk was in the refrigerator, the way the pillow was sitting on the couch. You will remember everything, and then there's certain days you can remember nothing. It's a blur. You will have things that make no sense. There'll be days that make no sense. And those are the days that people need their friends. Those are the days that you want to be left alone. But those are the days that we need to be pulled up. And someone says, look, come with me. Let's turn the music up. Let's talk about Autumn or Merrick. Let's talk about Merrick. Let's talk about his beautiful smile. And you see, just like that, Mama, a beautiful smile come to your face. Because there's laughter in his laughter. There is
Oh my
love
gosh,
in
yes,
his love. Do you understand? Their love is within us. It is within us. They leave
right.
us all their love and all their energy. We are them. We are. They are within us, and we are within them. But just know that his energy is forever within you. You
And
are, he left you his power.
you're right about one thing. Sometimes I run across situations where I will see something that reminds me of one or the other. They're very similar. This guy, he's very funny, and his
Yes,
one-liners were killing me all the time. And when I see somebody that has a hat that looks familiar, and I turn around and I'm like, the reality is, and that's what makes me sad. The reality is that he's not that person that I just saw, he's not that person, but that mama's really lucky to have him. You know, I just
yes,
think about how lucky that mama is to have that boy. And because, I see people that are similar to him, even in their
yes,
mannerisms and their humor. And you
yes,
know, um, my other one liked to drive cars and sometimes a little bit too fast, his older brother. And I see people, and I'm like, you know what? My son sure would have loved to meet you, but these are things that always roll into my head when I see a Cisco truck. I don't know if you've heard of the food truck
Yes,
Cisco.
yes, yes, yes,
He was
yes.
a manage he made it into management. My second to the oldest made it into management, and every time I go somewhere, I end up being behind a Cisco truck, and I'm like, "This Mario, hi." you know,
You
it's
just know
like,
it's always a sign. Yes. I just look at life, and like I said, it will be 12 years this year. I look at life and I know that we're just passing through this earth. And I see, and I've seen every day in the last few years that I've come to understand we don't know when we're going to leave, and we don't know how. And sometimes some people want to go, and um,
that's not our call.
no, it's not our call. It's not our call. We just don't know. And I know that we just have to keep going until our heavenly, to our spiritual create, till our creator takes us back home. We are here, and what we do matters. And that is, you know, you feed the good wolf, good will come. You feed the bad wolf, bad things will happen. You know, there's so much in life I do not understand. I will never understand. But I know that if we continue doing what we do, and that is to help as many people as we can to understand, just to understand addiction, because so
Yeah.
many people, it's so much that goes with addiction. It's not,
Yes.
no one just woke up and said, I'm going to be addicted today. No one does that.
Nobody.
Nobody. But my sister, all I can tell you is your son's love is forever within you.
I
Wherever
know that.
you are, he is with you. And he is the one. They give us strength. You know, yes, my honey, stay busy. Do what you do. Because you know why? They want us to be busy. Don't be sad and don't be crying because they're not going to come back. We know that as moms, as moms. And I'm so sorry to say that to you or to any mom, but we, as partners, as sisters in this life, fighting a fight that we can see no end to, that's how we continue. That's what they want. That's what I think. It was no accident that you accidentally just call me. No, it was not accidentally. We do what we do, and I know it was meant for us to talk. Please, please come back
I don't even
next
remember.
Tuesday.
Yes, I will come back. I don't even remember what made me call you. I can't remember which group. I was trying to put it together today, and I'm like, you know what? I don't even remember how that happened, but here we are, talking about the same thing, and
Yes,
talking about addiction, and talking about mental health, and talking
yes,
about um, addiction. How do we help people? How can we reach people? How can we talk to the parents so they're not going to go through what I went through and you went through? How can we reach the grandparents who have no clue that their grandkids are pulling the wool over their eyes with different stories like, hey, I'm going to be
exactly.
at Johnny's spending the night, and Johnny says, I'm going to be over here spending the night,
Let's
and they're
check at
out partying.
Johnny's. Yes, check on them. It's okay.
Yeah.
Look, this is what I say. Now, I do agree because children need privacies. I agree to that. but there's boundaries and there's limitations. As a parent, and yes, all parents, I'm saying this, if you're paying the cell phone bill, that is your phone. It does not belong to your child. It's not in their name. That's not their phone. You are giving them a privilege that they have earned to have a cell phone. And you have the right as a parent to check it at any time. You know, and yes, I said that.
You did say that, and I totally agree with you. And I don't feel bad
No,
opening up my
don't
son's
feel bad.
phone.
No,
Whatever was in there, it is what it is. I needed to know. It's something I needed to know so that I can know what happened to my child. And parents just know that you have a chance to talk to them. 9 years old is not too young. Peer pressure is everything. You are not going to be there when peer pressure happens. So all you can do is instill in them, do not eat or drink or take anything that your parent hasn't given you or you didn't buy fresh off the shelf yourself. The bottle that you opened up by yourself, the soda can that you opened up by yourself, because I will tell you this, fentanyl is tasteless and it's odorless, and you can't even smell it to know, okay, it doesn't smell bad, so it must be safe. And messing with the fentanyl strips, just so you know, you've got to practically destroy the pill to get to every aspect to know if the hot spot's over here on the pill or over here on the pill. You don't know. And don't use that as a safety net, because it's a false safety net. Narcan does not always bring you back. It's helpful. I totally believe that people should have it, but don't use that as your safety net that you're going to be safe just because Narcan is around. It doesn't always happen.
no, nor can, especially with this new drugs that are out right now. Narcan is not working. It is not bringing no one back. It's not working. You know, America, please, join us next week, because there's so much we still haven't even touched or talked about. Anyone that you would like to bring with you, you are more than welcome. We have people that join us, and everyone is welcome. This is a community platform. Even after I'm gone, Autumn's Way will continue, because it's just free information and it's just love. That's all that we're giving here, you know, in the hopes that we are, like you said, we're trying to have no more families. Not if one family doesn't feel what we're feeling, then we have done what we are doing. And that's all that we have set out. And that's what we're trying to do, is helping. And that's what we do. That's all we can do. And with, it's, we will continue this fight. We were never going to stop, because we're unstoppable. We have love, and we have our angels with us. That energy is just unstoppable, because it's everywhere. It's in the universe. To everyone, I want to thank everyone. Would you like to, we always, here at Autumn's Way as well, we shout out, we celebrate our angels. We say their names as many times as possible, just because we do. Because they are who they are. They are never forgotten, because they're always with us. But, You know, um, is there anything that you'd like to add before we leave tonight for this week? Because we're always here every Tuesday.
Join us next Tuesday because there's other topics that we're going to be bringing up. And I think it's more informative. And all we can do is bring it to you with love. And I will bring somebody on as a special guest as well.
Okay.
And I think you'll enjoy the different stories and, the stuff that they can share too. Everybody's story is different. Everybody's journey is different. Everybody's outlook on, how everyone's trying to help everyone. And that's what it is. It's about the love that you have for your fellow human and your fellow friends and fellow strangers, that you can help them through any addiction.
Yeah.
Actually, anything, it doesn't even have to be an addiction. It could be somebody that likes to shop too much. I have a friend that I'm like, I'm really trying to help you, girlfriend. So it could be
Yes.
anything.
It truly can. It can be anything. It truly,
And I'm
truly
so
can.
glad. I am so grateful to know you. And I can tell you that it's a blessing. It's a blessing to have this opportunity. It really is. I just couldn't thank you enough. And, when you get opportunities like this and you can talk to an audience, and we're talking about the toughest of toughest conversations and things that people don't want to either hear or bring up, it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to be different. It's okay, because we don't judge. This is not our world to judge.
No.
It is not our world to judge. All we can do is share and invite you into the conversation. And hopefully we can help you with whatever question you might have.
Yes. Because that is their true hope here, is through Autumn's way, through the love, because Autumn, she loved people. Autumn loved music. And I've seen her give her last 50 cents to the guy standing up under the bridge. That's who Autumn was. She loved big band music, country. There was no music that Autumn did not like.
She
You
would have
know,
loved Jelly Roll.
she Jelly Roll, absolutely. We knew of him in his early years. So she absolutely loved Jelly Roll. And, it's absolutely through listening to one song that she was listening to is how I absolutely, stumbled across Jelly. But, music is always, music is medicine. And
It is.
it truly is.
And it's good for the soul. It's good for the
It
soul.
is.
It brings us back to days of happiness. People will
Yes.
remember songs from 2012, 2009. I know what I was listening to. And it brings back
Yes.
some happiness, some sense of a semblance of peace, for sure.
Yes. It does. Music does. Again, I want to thank everyone thank you so much for joining us. I want to thank DJ B Lethal. Shout out to LLR, Ohio Linda's Legacy Radio. Thank you, Miss Linda. To our beautiful Autumn, to my Misty, my Allie, my Steffi, to my Rain Man. Thank you. And you know who you are. To everyone that does what they do, for everyone that shares, for everyone that you're out here in the streets helping everyone do what you do through the fight of addiction. Just know that we could not do this without you. Again, we thank y'all, and we will be right here again next Tuesday night doing what we do. And our beautiful sister will be right here joining us with friends Again, we thank y'all from Autumn's Way through. Stay blessed. Until next time. Good night from Autumn's Way. We love you. Angel hugs and love. Good night. Thank you, DJ B Lethal, for everything you do, sir.